Candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Michael Kenneth Velchik.
A young man from Oakton, Virginia.
Praeses Faust, decani, professores sapientissimi, familiae, amici, hospites honoratissimi. Tandem mei condiscipuli carissimi, ex instituto ac more maiorum, in hanc priscam consuetudinem nos revoco, et hac lingua antiquissima omnes vos salvere jubeo, salvete! Spectatores, quidem adestis, nostri laudandique causa honestandique gratia, id quod gratissimum est nobis, et vobis haec narrabo, ut discatis atque intelligatis, quade causa nos ita collatis. Sed nunc meos condiscipulos anima adverto, aliis gradum suscipere gradatio vitae est. Reliqua via prona. Reliquam vitam terretis semper recordantes saepe quemonentes circumstantes vos cooptatos esse in quadam collegium Bostoniae situm. Re vera Cantabrigiae. Aliis iam prospiciunt ad superiores laudes, ad maiores laetitias, ac forsan et maximam laetitiam et summam laudem, conspicore filium suum ex universitate Harvardiana olim gradum suscipientem. Meum igitur est, ad monere vos unde veneritis, qualia hic feceritis, quo vadatis, ut tanto honore digni sitis. Hoc apertum uniquique est, crede quidem, qui frequens in aurea Harvardiana versetur, cum litoris quadratis ac perspicuis super portam dexteriensem sic inscriptum sit. In gredite ut sapientia crescatis, exite ut melius patriae et generi humano serviatis. Hoc mihi liceat, brevi atque adeo una sententia explicare. Quator ab hinc annos ex togatorum numero hominum sapientissimi electi, alii nostrum ex extremis terrae partibus, longinquis nationibus remotis sedibus, alii proximis, primum per portam Johnstoniensem in aream Harvardianam, ut sapientia crescoremus ingressi novi homines, nam nemo est quid ignoret omne collegium divisum esse in partes quator. Amicitia, cum uno quoque conjuncti, foro Harvardiano explorato, actis rubris certatis, simul intra portas huiusque aureae magistratibus aquibustam petitis, simul foris, Obama, alumno clarissimo, consule creato, tum illo die festivo ac fatali, alii beati, admissi in hortum quadratum. Alii beatiores, ad domus flumini Carolo adiacentes. Alii beatissimi, ad domum Dunsteriensem. Tum sapientis stultifacti, vastis correctis, bellis cumblatis ferociter gestis, ientaculis coctis, ab judicatis, labores fandos, infandos que passi, dende juniores, tandem seniores, hoc anno mirabili. Libris lectis, amantibus amantis, carminibus cantantis, in memoria tenentes per multas lectiones auditas, quastam fortasse inauditas, multas studio actas vigilias, paucas horas et ante meridianas. Theses scriptas, rescriptas, postremo submissas, Ialenses, non modo in illo certamine, verum etiam in illa naumachia, nec semel, nec bis, nec ter quidem, sed quater victos. Attestati lin sanitatem, auream Harvardianam quondam occupatam, tum liberatam, denique nunc hunc theatrum Augustum trecentenarium ingressi, gradulantes unum quemque internos de rebus gestis, simulac rebus gerendis, evasuri alii in alias partes orbis terrarum, alii ut rem quaerant, Tacite, tacite. Tacite, meum est. Alii ut rei publicae serviant. Satis est, satis est.
We see all of the Kennedy School students there with their globes.
Alii ut reis adsint.
Law students with their gavels.
Alii ut aegros medicent.
All those new physicians.
alii ut aedificia extorlant, alii Deos. Alii ut dentes instruant, alii ignaros. Metidet. Alii non ut vias tritas sequantur, sed ut vias nondum unitas patefaceant. Omnes ad amplissimos honorum gradus assecuturi. Nunc mei condiscipuli hac oratione paene perfecta, per portas huiusque aureae, sic periti, ut melius patriae et generi humano serveamus, exeamus.
Senior English Address, Harvard's Enduring Contradictions. Candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Anthony Charles Hernandez.
When I was a sophomore, I decided to take the course Religion 1513, a history of Harvard and its presidents, taught by the late Reverend Peter Gomes, a legendary character and presence at Harvard. Usually a course taken by seniors because of its nostalgic value and moderate workload. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the course took on greater significance after Reverend Gomes passed away in February 2011. It would be the last time that he taught the course. The last semester, he'd invite students over for tea, or challenge us to hunt Boston for the grave of John Harvard, or deliver a lecture from the president's chair in University Hall. I had looked forward to him speaking today at my own commencement. And although this is the second commencement where his booming voice and Paddington Bear-like persona will be missed, I felt it a great opportunity to reflect on the history of our university. For if there is one lesson we can learn from Reverend Gomes, it's that Harvard is a place of contradictions. Take, for example, the history of women at Harvard. Although we were a college founded exclusively for men, it was the religious agitations of Anne Hutchinson that motivated the leaders of the Massachusetts Bay Colony to establish an institution able to suppress such dissent. The first scholarships for the college were established by a woman, Lady Anne Radcliffe Molson. And the largest building in our presence, Widener Library, was commissioned and overseen by a mother at a time when her own daughter wouldn't have been allowed to set foot inside. Or take the question of public versus private. Reverend Gomes was always quick to point out that we were founded through an act of a public legislature, seeking to build upon the collective will of the community to perpetuate its values. Another paradox, balancing the sacred and the secular. We were founded in a deep Puritan tradition at a time when the concept of separation of church and state did not exist. Up until the Civil War, 17 of our 20 presidents were clergymen. And yet by the 1880s, when President Eliot decided to make morning prayer optional instead of mandatory, critics called us godless Harvard. Godless we may be, religion still pervades our university, evidenced even by much of the ceremony at today's commencement. We were a college that was more influenced by the Great Awakening than the American Revolution. After General George Washington's troops ransacked Massachusetts Hall, Harvard College, demonstrating great shrewdness, prepared 2 lawsuits. One, in case the British won. One in case the British won, the other in case the Americans won. And for me, one of the beauties of Harvard is the persistence of such contradictions. We are a place that a first-generation college student and a fourth-generation legacy can each call home. A school where someone who enters as a pre-med can leave an art history concentrator. A place that is forward-looking, yet slow-moving. A school that predates America, yet is intensely American and international at the same time. And like the history of our university, Reverend Gomes himself was a man of contradictions. He was a waspy, African-American, baptized Catholic turned Baptist preacher, a friend of Ronald Reagan, and a role model for the gay community. And he fit in at Harvard as well as anyone. In a 2008 interview about his background, he said, "It is what it is. I am what I am. It confuses people, which gives me great pleasure." And perhaps that's the true value of our university as we all move forward into an uncertain future. Each of us, myself included, can find contradictions in our own backgrounds, interests, and aspirations, sometimes making us feel isolated from what we suppose a Harvard student ought to be. For many of us, such contradictions might be worthy of hiding. Yet Reverend Gomes was a man who saw strength in them. We must embrace our contradictions and not be afraid to talk about them. In a changing world that is smaller, flatter, and globalized, they will be assets, not limitations. And as long as we remind ourselves of the contradictions in our own history, in our own privilege, and in our own narratives, such contradictions will not only be sources of strength, but because of them, we'll always be at home at Harvard.
Graduate English Address, Pivoting Perspectives, candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Jonathan Service.
Yuku haru ya tori naki, Uo no me wa namida. That's a poem by Basho, one of Japan's great haiku masters. When he composed it, he was already acknowledged to be a dexterous manipulator of the Japanese tongue and a profound observer of the human condition. He lived in a little hut on the outskirts of Edo, a great metropolis of 1 million people that grew to become present-day Tokyo. Disciples gathered from miles around to live at his side and to see life through his eyes. But fame weighed heavily on his shoulders. He longed to escape. For Basho knew that life is a journey. Though the way was long and dangerous, he desired nothing more than to leave behind the cosmopolitan comforts of the city in order to discover the wilds of the north. When he set out on his journey, well-wishers gathered at the outskirts of Edo. It was there that he composed this haiku. Yuku haru ya. It is the spring of leaving. Tori naki. The birds are crying. Uo no me wa namida. And in the eyes of the fish, there are tears. What an extraordinary vision, all of nature hushed and saddened, partaking in the scene of an old poet, too old for the road ahead, leaving his friends behind. Gathered in tercentenary theater with trees for columns and branches supporting the sky, I wonder if there aren't birds crying here as well. Perhaps the bell of Memorial Church is gazing down upon us, wondering which one of you to anoint with the task of bringing peace to this world, which to raise up to a presidency or prime ministership, which to make a lawgiver to the nations, which a champion of the oppressed. Perhaps that bronze statue of John Harvard is sitting on his plinth thinking, I do not doubt that one among them will make dark matter speak, another will cure disease, an entrepreneur will change the way we live, a scientist will translate the wildest dreams of fiction into reality. Perhaps there's a book in Widener's stacks whose pages you are the first to turn, whose words you are the first to read, that consoles itself when it considers your departure, with the thought that you will feel things no one has ever felt, think things never thought, and write things often thought in new and brilliant ways. And perhaps all of them, bell, bronze, and book, are thinking, well, if that's their calling, then let them go. Yet, there's another meaning encoded in Basho's haiku, hidden in a homonym. Yuku haru ya, spring is passing. Tori naki, the birds are crying. Or because naku also means to squawk or chirp, they're simply doing what birds do when they open their beaks. Uo no me wa namida, and the eyes of the fish are wet. But of course they are. They live in water. Read this way, the fish and birds are shamelessly ignorant of what is happening above and below. They simply do not. Now, why am I introducing this of occasions? Because Basho knew that the pathetic fallacy, the ascription of human emotions to the world around us, while it raises us up to abstract heights, tends to obscure the intimate, the concrete, the here and now of the people around us. And so with this second reading in mind, allow me to offer the following. Make time today to look each member of your family in the eyes and tell them how much you've appreciated their love and support. Shake hands with your adversaries and sparring partners, for they have tempered you, shaped you, and made you strong. Thank your teachers and mentors for opening fresh vistas before you and showing you how to wend through them. Hold your friends close and wish them safe travels, for everything will change as of today. When you've done that, pivot back to the exultant vision enabled by our first reading of Basho's haiku. Allow yourself to perceive all of nature conspiring to celebrate your achievement. Every leaf whispering of the changes you'll make, every bee buzzing the news, every lily trumpeting your great expectations, every ant lining up in salute, every brick baking red in the smoking hot sun of your success, the very walls of this university pulling themselves up to their full height as they think of what you will do in the world out there. Yukuharu ya torinaki, uo no me wa namida. It is the spring of our leaving. The birds are crying, and the eyes of the fish are wet, with tears of pride, tears of sadness, tears of joy.